Hi, I'm Emily Kitchens, Assistant Professor of Acting at Kennesaw State University. Thank you so much for stopping by to engage your craft with me today. Today we're going to look at the actor's warm-up. We'll be playful and have fun with a progression that takes you through all of the various spaces in your body and your voice, and really leaves us with a holistic health in entering a performance situation. We can modify it for big houses or tiny venues, or even for something that's on camera, taking key components of the warm-up. This should be something that you can do in any space. I'm gonna do it in my home. You can do it on a stage, you can do it in, parts of it in a waiting room, getting ready for an audition. It's something that can be flexible with how you need it. We'll have fun. Just a little note on the term warm up. We are getting ready. We're warming our bodies up, we're warming our voices up, we're warming our minds up, we're warming our spirits up to perform in some way. Athletes use that term. We need our warm up. Performers use this term. We're getting ready. Part of what I want to float in the way that we consider a warm-up is also a warm-in. Part of a good acting warm-up should be the ability to feel at home in ourselves, to feel present, to feel grounded. We are ready to bring authenticity and truth to our work on stage. A warm-up, a warm-in. So we start our warm-up with creating sensation in our body. Create some friction in the hands, and then we can move to the arms, really just heating up, creating sensation on a skin to muscle level. We want to get in our shoulders, really rub. We can rub, we can squeeze, we can pat. There's a different sensation for each of these gestures, but they all support the idea of creating warmth, creating awareness of our bodies. We want to get in the hips, the legs, the feet. Don't forget your feet. We want to come around and get to the sacrum bone. The sacrum bone's right above the butt. It's a huge bone, and it really is amazing how much of our power and vitality we can access in that bone. We can come back up, really get in there with the neck. The neck has so many nerve endings. We will create a little rainstorm on our face, connecting to the bones, our skull, a little hailstorm, a little shampoo on our skull, and then we'll just resonate. Rest in the sensation. Take a few breaths. We're just letting ourselves take a little stock, a little inventory. Maybe it's helpful to connect to our breath by physically acknowledging it moving our body. placing hands on parts of our body, we physically are aware of it. This is important, an important moment of our practice, of our warm-up, and of our presence as actors, is we breathe, connect to the breath. It always, always, always creates presence in the here and now. So, to create some presence, which is kind of elusive, you think you can't actually create it, I'm going to do a breath stretch. I reach up with flexed palms on an inhale, and I release with relaxed palms on an exhale. I can let this take whatever shape it wants, but I'm letting my inhale be received with flexed palms, my exhale released with relaxed palms. I can take this into more of my body. The inhale, oh, it feels good to stretch. The exhale feels good to bring it back in. Inhale, how big can I be? Exhale, come back to me. And I'm following the natural impulses of my own body and breath. What feels good? It might be a little bit different every time. Something else I can do to create presence is spiraling. I start with my feet and my ankles and let it spiral the motion up into my legs and hips. And do one side, then come over and do the other side. I'm having fun with this. I am spiraling one direction and the other direction. I can bring it all the way into my hips and my chest, my belly, my arms, just letting it be a total body spiraling sensation. I can bring my head and my neck into it. I'm just really, again, creating sensation of presence with what feels good. I can make this as small of a spiral as possible. How do I spiral as contained as can be? Just an inch of a spiral, and then I bring it back into maybe as large as I can be, spiraling. Maybe my arms are all over the place, spiraling. It's a nice dance. And come back to breath. Resonate. Resonate is just another word for experiencing, giving yourself a moment to experience the process, what you've just done. Another option in creating total body presence is the spinal roll. This is something I always include a few spinal rolls into every warm-up I do. It creates a sensation of my verticality. I reach up, I receive my inhale from the sky, I release into my middle, into my lower space, and begin from my head, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling down, really letting the sensation be in my spine, spinal roll. I'm released at the bottom, my knees are soft, my arms are loose, my neck is loose. Just letting myself breathe. However far down my body takes me, and then I roll back up, initiating from my tailbone. The tailbone is actually the very base of the spine. So I'm rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. When I arrive at the top, my head being the very last thing, I take in my horizon and just take a moment to feel what's shifted, what's changed, resonate again. I'm resonating after every action, every exercise. Depending on the day, I may do one spinal roll very, very slowly. I may need to do 5. Depends on the day, depends on the performance. You can really gear a lot of these components of the warm-up in terms of repetition, in terms of some type of sequencing, picking and choosing for the performance opportunity itself. Once we've created sensation and presence in the whole of our body, we can start turning to the body and voice in tandem. This is kind of a holistic approach to the voice and the body work in terms of your actor warm-up. Also, it feeds in the spirit. I come from a background that talks about the voice is the soul on vibration. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. So it is about integrating the physical, the mental, the spiritual. And that's what we do as actors. The physical, the mental, the spiritual. That's our craft, that's our art. So a good warm-up addresses the whole of that. We'll start with the lower space. We come to the ground intuitively for the lower space. We can come to a child's pose. If that's comfortable for you, you can let your knees be apart or close together. And we're just connecting to our breath in this position. We can begin to give our backs, our sacrums, our breath, our spine, the sound can repeat that's as in M. You can also emit ooh, ooh. Something else, we can come into a squatting position as best you can, kind of a catcher's position, and we'll stretch our legs, really get into the legs as a part of the lower space, the hips, the pelvis floor, the feet, the legs. That's all very connected to the lower space, which is connected to our sense of vitality and a sense of power, energy. We want access to that in our warm-up for our performances. Had fun with that. You can also access it through your sacrum bone. To transition from the lower space into the middle space, when we move from the lower to the middle, we're moving our power into our essence, into our personality. We can push ourselves onto our hands in a cat-cow configuration. If you're practicing yoga, you can receive your inhalation one direction, release in the other. I like to receive going up, and on my release, I like to emit an oh. The middle space. When we come into the middle space, that's right at the base of our solar plexus. So right as if there is a sash. That's my intercostal muscles, and right there, as if there's a little bitty ring. That's the space I'm the most interested in. There are my intercostal muscles, the sides of my ribs. I create a little bit of pressure on either side with my hands, and I allow my breath to move into my hands on the inhale, as if I'm wearing a corset, and on my exhale I release on an oh. 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 I can play with pitch, and that can just repeat over and over. Now I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use my fingers and pinch the skin on either side of my ribs and do the same. I breathe into that area, and then on my exhale I oh. Now I'm moving into shh, 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 shh. The shh, shh, as if you're shushing a baby, except over and over. Shh, 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 shh. Shh, 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 shh. Just creating sensation and breath in this middle space, using these simple exercising, voice, breath, body. Now I'm going to use the O on a stomp with my feet. O, short O, as if I'm pressing something away. Oh, That's my power in my middle. Oh. Oh. And then I resonate. I rest. I come to myself. Maybe I even offer myself some love right there in the middle. That's me. Love you. Next is the upper space. The upper space includes the heart, it includes the back, it includes the arms and the head. It's the closest space to being the most extroverted of the spaces, if that makes sense. It's usually something that involves our environment in some way. We're aware of our outside in our upper space and the people around. So I begin by creating sensation in my upper space with a rub, like we did earlier, a pat. There's a lot of dense tissue and muscle in the upper right there. I make sure I get my head, my neck. It's all a part of the upper space. Creating sensation. And then I rest on my heart. I rest my palm on my heart, connecting to my breath. I just gently touch an ah. Nothing forced. Maybe I place the other hand there. Little sigh. The ah is this sound of the upper space. It's the sound of the heart space. It's the most open of our vowel sounds. If I want to get very fun and free and need a lot of life and play in the role that I'm preparing for, I let my upper space take me over to the side with my arms swinging and my legs chassé. Left and right, getting the air moving in the upper. Hey, hey, hey. I maybe even add hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. And then I let it go. Shake it out. Shake out my legs, shake it all out. Sigh. Doesn't have to be a pretty sigh. Let my shoulders go way up and then release, drop. And I resonate, connecting to my breath. So when we transition into the speech part of our warm-up, we're interested in dexterity and creating dynamic capacity for all the parts of our face, jaw, lips, teeth, tongue, chest, larynx, head, nose, all of these aspects that relate to being as dynamic with what we are saying. If speech is the container of our voice, if the voice is the soul on vibration, speech is the container for that soul. So we're just creating a little warm-up for that container. And so we address the major points of that that form words in speech, that we can start with the lips. And then we move to the jaw. We're going to give the jaw a little massage. This is a place we hold a lot of tension. Sometimes I like to use the heels of my hands and drag them down those muscles, really working out in a jaw massage. Sometimes I separate my upper from my lower jaw, my lower from my upper. So here you can see I'm demonstrating how to separate the upper from the lower, which the upper is that whole part of your skull. It's a little trippy, but it's kind of fun. And then I can give it some stretch with the lion and mouse. Make myself really big, really small, really big, really small. Being a lion. There I go, being a lion. And you can do this with your whole body too. Have fun with it. We move to the tongue. So you might not know this, but where I'm using my thumb underneath my head, that is actually the base of the tongue. You can give it a little massage down there. Sometimes I like to stick my tongue out and spell my name in cursive, my whole name, in the air. Just give my tongue a real stretch. What we're looking for here is some tongue dexterity and flexibility. Sometimes I will like to say a few things with my tongue out, especially if I'm with other people. Yeah, just creating some flexibility and dexterity for your tongue. This is fun. And then attaching the base of my tongue to the base of the back of my bottom teeth. I la 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 la. I find different points in the room, in the theater, maybe I'm in a huge theater, and I send my sound using my tongue in a la la la. The speech part is very silly, and we embrace that. What our mechanisms, our speech mechanisms do to form words is kind of mind-blowing. And sighs are available whenever I need them. And then I'm going to turn to the articulators. And so we give the lips, the tongue, and the jaw a little bit of warm up. And then these articulators will also address some of those aspects. But we're including speech. So the first articulator we like to use is with the lips. B, ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-bay, ba-ba, ba-bay, ba-bee, ba-ba, ba-bay, ba-bee, ba-bye, ba-ba, ba-bay, ba-bee, ba-bye, ba-bo, ba-ba, ba-bay, ba-bee, ba-bye, ba-bo, ba-boo, ba-ba, ba-bay, ba-bee, ba-bye, ba-bo, ba-boo. And then we can go to the tongue with l, la la, la 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 lay, la 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 lay la lee, la 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 lay la lee la lie, la 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 lay la lee la 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 lo, la 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 lay la lee la 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 lo la lo, la 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 lay la la lee la 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 lo la la lo. And with these, it can be interesting to think about maybe a Laban quality. Like, what does the b make me feel like I'm doing? Maybe flicking or dabbing, dab, or maybe it is punching, and maybe the l makes me feel like I'm floating or gliding, or flicking, la la la. We can have fun with those qualities when we're playing with the articulators and be curious about them. And then we can move to the soft palate articulator. G, g-ga, g-ga, g-gay, g-ga, g-gay, g-gee, g-ga, g-gay, g-gee, g-guy, g-ga, g-gay, g-gee, g-guy, g-go, g-ga, g-gay, g-gee, g-guy, g-go, g-goo, g-ga, g-gay, g-gee, g-guy, g-go, g-goo. And again, I can be curious about that quality. We can play with some tongue twisters for articulators, maybe some that address other parts of the speech, articulation, such as whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll be together whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. Whether the weather be cold, whether the weather be hot, we'll be together whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. I know New York. You know New York. You know you need unique New York. I know New York, you know New York, you know you need unique New York. Or Peggy Babcock. Peggy Babcock. Peggy Babcock, Peggy Babcock, Peggy Babcock, Peggy Babcock. And there we can really feel, oh, I'm reinforcing some of the articulators with the lips, with the soft palate. And I always like to have a different image of Peggy Babcock whenever I am speaking to her. I slit a sheet I slit, upon the slitted sheet I sit. I slit a sheet I slit, upon the slitted sheet I sit. Oh, careful there. And there are plenty of other tongue twisters at our disposal. And maybe I'll send some of those out in a document. That would be wise. And then we have our resonators, our chest resonators. We start with and I'm really luxuriating in the sensation of the as a resonator in my chest. Resonators help volume, help fill a space, help carry sound. So the chest resonator. Mama ma, mama may, mama me, mama my, mama mo, mama moo. Mama ma, mama may, mama me, mama my, mama mo, mama moo. Then we can move up into the nasal cavity and in the face. The and the nasal resonator really directs sound. Directs it into a point. And then we have our head resonator. And again, we're not straining with this. We're just sending the sound to the top of our head. And then I'm letting it trickle down like rain. So the chest resonator, the nasal resonator, the head resonators. I'm going to release it all on a sigh. I'm just doing some shoulder round and round. Just connecting again to the sensation of my breath, my body, creating a little bit of relaxation. A neck roll. Today my neck was really tight. I think I slept on it wrong. I'm just being very gentle. And I'm taking inventory of how everything feels. The neck is where we carry a lot of nerve endings. I want to give it some freedom. In the Alexander technique, there are a few instructions you might find very helpful. One is, I let my neck be free so that my head can go forward and up, so that my back can lengthen and widen. And I'm going to sit, or I'm standing, or I'm lying, and I'm connecting to my breath one more time as a point of just putting a little period on all of that wonderful warm up. Just saying, yep, it's all there. And I can connect to my breath with text from what I'm about to do, the performance itself, or maybe it's just connecting to a point of soft focus on the ground a few feet in front of me and letting my hands rest on places I physically experience my breath for a few cycles. Just being here in that presence. To recap, the components of a great, complete, full body and voice and spirit warm-up include connecting to your breath and body through physical sensation, presence, awareness and connection of your breath. Be in the space you're in, feeling comfortable as yourself. Moving into warming up the 3 body and voice and spirit spaces. The lower space, closest to the floor, invites your passion, your vitality, your power. The middle space, your essence, right at the base of your solar plexus. This is me. This is who I am, naturally. The upper space, the heart space, the arm space, the playful space. Then we transition to our speech, dexterity, flexibility, creating dynamics with our jaw, our tongue, our lips, our resonators. And then connect to yourself again. If you can include these key components into your warm-up, you will feel grounded, you will feel focused, you will feel warm, you will feel ready. Thank you so much for stopping by to engage your craft with me today. Let me know if you have any questions. I am more than happy to be a resource however I can. Stay safe, be well, be kind. Bye.